My name is Rachel Herzog. I'm class of 2015 and I'm majoring in classics. I went to a performing arts high school in New York City called the Professional Performing Arts School, where I majored in drama, and I studied acting, directing, dramaturgy. At the same time, I also did a lot of modern dance outside of school. My interest in classical theater started when I was very young. I loved Greek mythology. I loved reading the different stories of the myths. And as soon as I learned that there were plays about these stories when I was about 9 or 10 years old, I was immediately fascinated. Ever since then, I loved classical theater, and I was interested in being involved in it as a performer and as a director eventually as well. I was also really impressed by Barnard Classics program as soon as I visited, for a lot of reasons. One being this ancient play tradition that they have, which is really unique, and would give me the opportunity to be involved in classics as a performer and intellectually as well. It was really attractive to me to be in a school where I could engage on multiple levels with this material. The Barnard Columbia Ancient Drama Group is really unique. We've been doing productions of ancient plays in their original language since 1977, and there's no other college that has this kind of tradition. The Barnard and Columbia Classics departments are very closely interlinked. We also work very closely with the Classics graduate students at Columbia. So the Ancient Drama Group becomes a really unique space where graduate and undergraduate students from Barnard and Columbia are working together to put this production on. I choreographed the choral dance for the plays, Alcestis in 2012 and Thyestes in 2013, as well as performing in the dance sections. This year I'm directing for the first time, and we're putting on Euripides Ion. I have been interested in Euripides Ion for years. I read it when I was a teenager, and I was fascinated with this tragedy, which is so anomalous and so unlike other tragedies, and yet is so rarely performed. It's a really dynamic play. It has really rich characters. There was a long process of preparing and becoming familiar with the text in Greek before I got to this point. Last year, I did an independent study with Professor Foley, where I read the play in the original Greek and worked on the meter and familiarized myself with it. Professor Foley did what we normally do in our classics department with these productions, and held a class, a 3,000 level advanced Greek course for students throughout Barnard and Columbia to study the play, along with some other Euripides texts, so that if they wanted to be involved in the spring, they would already have read the Greek and would have a knowledge of it. It's a huge demand on the actors to hold both the scholarly side of understanding what you're saying and the performative side of being a persuasive performer. You also need to convey your meaning to an audience that is not going to understand what you're saying. It's very rewarding to see people experiencing that and realizing that even though this story is from so many thousands of years ago, it still resonates with them and it still feels real and new and fresh.